Thank you for dropping by, my movie peeps. Let's get on to the movie news. Some of the things we'll be talking about here today, guys, is we got some pretty big updates involving Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. We got Sony wanting to give Men in Black another shot with Will Smith. And as so happens, when one franchise returns, another must as well, with Blumhouse exploring another Paranormal Activity movie. Oh, we'll be diving into that along with so much more, but real quick, I also want to say thank you so much for all of you who are tagging me in your YouTube recap. I've been getting an endless amount of people letting me know I was one of their top viewed creators. And let me tell you, stuff like that just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, knowing that some of you are that dedicated to the channel. So thank you guys so much. And even if I didn't end up on your top 5, what's your beef with me, man? Huh? Say it right now, huh? I didn't like you neither. But okay, let's get into our first story here. So earlier in the week, we did get our first trailer for the sequel to Ready or Not. That first Ready or Not was one of my favorite movies of the year it came out. Honestly thought it was such a gem of a movie, so I was kind of hesitant hearing that they were making a second movie, and I will say this second trailer has put me at ease, but I'm still slightly worried. I'm saying it's putting me at ease because I do like the idea of exploring further this world where you played a game with the family you were getting married into, hide and seek. Well, you won that game, and usually when you win a game, there is some sort of prize. And well, looks like we got the answer to that prize. You get to play the game again. Imagine telling somebody that after they play Monopoly. They're gonna say, just shoot me right now. Honey, but there's brisket in the oven. Shoot me, Gerald. I don't want to play Monopoly again for 3 hours. So that was honestly the one part that was worrying about me. It was just, hey, how about we do the same thing again, but with more people? And it looks like it's the extended family or other people who participate in this game that Samara Weaving's character will go up against. But they've thrown her a bone and included her sister, played by Catherine Newton. But even with that repeat in the formula, it looks just as fun as the first movie. And I gotta tell you, Samara Weaving has some lungs on her. She was just screaming all throughout this trailer. So I am excited for the movie. I am just worried. I don't want it to feel too repetitive to what we saw already in the first movie. I kind of like the idea of being like, hey, you won this, here's the next level, and if she wins this game, she gets to rule the world. So that's kind of cool. I don't get to rule the world after Monopoly. I just get brisket that's in the oven. I'm spending too much time with the family this holiday season. What did you guys think about the first trailer for Ready or Not? Moving on, something else that was kind of cool to see. Currently, right now in Brazil, they're about to hold their Comic-Con CCXP. And we got a first look at the poster for the Spider-Noir show, where then they quickly also revealed the poster online. It's still kind of crazy to me that Sony would rather do this as a TV show than an actual movie, because I feel like it's just a better idea than Madam Web. Also, just having Nicolas Cage, who voiced him in the animated movie, play him in live action just feels so perfect. They've also now confirmed with this poster it will be the Ben Reilly version. It looks like there's a legal loophole reason on why he can't be named Peter Parker in the TV show, because it looks like there is some rule where Peter Parker could only be done in movies, and the TV rights are a little bit more complicated, but Ben Reilly's fine. I mean, it's a clone of Spider-Man, close enough. The show still revolves around a guy who's now a private investigator and has to grapple with the fact that he once used to be the only Spider-Man for New York City, saving people, and now it looks like a case has drawn him back in. The other interesting thing is, again, they double down on the fact that there will be a black and white version of the show and a colored version of the show. Christopher Miller even commented on this because Discussing Films mentioned that the main version of the show was colored and that they just did a black and white filter for the black and white version, when he said that's actually not true. He said that's not quite accurate. It was shot and designed to be in black and white, and there will also be a color version that has been designed in an exciting and unique period-inspired way, so there's no main version. So although he's saying that, it feels to me like the way to go and watch this is the black and white version, and that makes sense with the comic also being black and white, and it is named Spider-Noir, so I think that's the way I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna be annoying about it and say, I'm better than you, because I saw it in black and white. Oh, what do baby need color to watch TV show? Yeah, you get grumpy 3C today. Let me know what you guys think about the first poster, Spider-Man Noir, and which version you'll be watching. Moving on, today, Deadline reported here that a new Men in Black movie's in the works. Headline reads exactly, new Men in Black film in the works from Bad Boys for Life scribe Chris Bremer. Some more details on the project here go as plot details are unknown, but insiders tell Deadline that the idea is once Bremer has finished the script, original series star Will Smith would be one of the first to receive it in hopes he would reprise the role of Agent J. it is unknown how the character would be featured and whether it's a starring role or a more of a supporting, passing of the torch type role we have seen in films like Creed. But the plan is to have the character back in the first draft. And okay, couple of thoughts about this. Maybe this isn't said enough. I think that first Men in Black movie, severely underrated. We all probably consider it already a good movie, but if you haven't, pop it on once in a while, and it is gonna be one of those movies you watch and go, oh, they don't make them like they used to. That movie had a lot of sauce, as the kids say. And just the way you're introduced into that world, how Will Smith's character goes from being this regular cop to then thrust into this secret alien police force, and then all the gadgets and aliens. There was a lot of detail put in with the practical effects, the set designs, and then the 2 Will Smith sequels that followed, I think were enjoyable enough. But it was really that Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson movie where they tried revamping the franchise with a new, where I was like, oh, they just don't understand what made that Men in Black movie actually work. There is a magic in that universe. I'm not saying you need Will Smith to make Men in Black work, but bringing him back would have some of that charm that he brought, and hopefully they could go back to that older way and almost kind of how they make Star Wars movies, where it's like, oh, we got some people in costumes and prosthetics and you got a couple of CGI people here. But I think maybe that would be the best route, is, maybe Will Smith's partner, played by Tommy Lee Jones, could die in this universe. Tommy Lee Jones was already barely in the third movie. You could just say his character has now finally passed on, and now Jay needs to get a new partner, making him the Tommy Lee Jones character from the first movie, where he's older, grumpy, having to teach a younger hothead, kind of like he was. I think that's the best way to do it, and it would be also a good way to reintroduce us into the fun of this world. So I do like the idea, but we'll see what happens with it. Whenever the new Men in Black movie is mentioned, people always want to also bring up the 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover movie they were planning, which I'm like, I still would love to see that. It sounds so dumb and ridiculous, but why not, dude? How are you guys feeling about Men in Black coming back? And do you agree with me that, like, that first movie, okay, pretty awesome, right? Next up, something that I don't know if we can really say was underrated is the Paranormal Activity franchise. The Hollywood Reporter has it here that new Paranormal Activity movie in the works, with James Wan joining franchise as producer. And okay, look, a couple of things on this. For all until the end of time, Paranormal Activity movies are just always going to be a thing. They are like a cheat code Blumhouse has, where they are so insanely cheap to make, and somehow they just always turn an insane profit. It's also just become a recognizable IP, whether you like or hate them. So I always knew there would be a future where we'd get this article. I'd honestly thought it'd be another couple of years, but all right, we are here again, getting another movie. I would like to think James Wan's producer attachment meant something, but I actually don't think it's that big of a deal, since we've known for a while that Blumhouse and James Wan's company, Atomic Monster, have now merged. Most Blumhouse projects now are going to have a James Wan produced credit. And if you also go through his producer history, it's not exactly all winners there. But I'm optimistic to see what happens. The most recent one they made that I think went straight to streaming, where they actually dropped the found footage style and just kind of made a regular style haunted possession movie that I thought was just pretty boring, was a low for the franchise. But I think if done effectively, there could be something fun there. And I think those first 3 movies, in a way, they are good watches. The first one I think would be tough to sit through now, but I remember kind of getting intrigued with the lore that the second and third movie brought. But it could also be a case of maybe the time has passed for these kind of movies and they just won't hit the same. So I'm just waiting to see what the plot is and what the idea they have, but it's not like something I'm extremely excited about. How are you guys feeling about Paranormal Activity wanting to be revived with Blumhouse and James Wan? But all right, bringing us here to talk about some Batman. Ooh, it is so cool that in the next coming months, man, we are going to be getting so many little updates about the Batman. Heck, Matt Reeves has already started posting his little GIFs online, which I guess is the first piece of the story we'll talk about here. We have gotten confirmed that unfortunately the cinematographer Greg Fraser is not going to be coming back for the Batman Part 2. He did such an amazing job with that first movie. I really wanted him back for this second film, but instead he chose to go and make the 4 Beatles movies that are currently being worked on. So then Jeff Snyder reported that Eric Messerschmidt, who did the cinematography for Michael Fassbender's The Killers and the Netflix show Mindhunter, will be replacing him for the Batman Part 2. And a lot of people lost their marbles. A lot of people didn't even want to believe it, but like I said, Matt Reeves then did confirm that it was true. through. And looking at his filmography, I think it's good enough. I mean, I actually really like the way Michael Fassbender's The Killers look, and I feel like there is a way for that style to be implemented into the Batman universe. And it's also such a different setting because this is supposed to be taking place in the winter, snowy Gotham. So it's not like he's going to try and recreate Greg Fraser's Batman Gotham. He's going to be able to play around with it a little bit more because everything will be covered in snow and will be looking colder. So it'll probably be an easy transition. I'm fine with it. I don't think it's that bad of a choice. But it was honestly this next story and what is possibly our first hint to the villain in the Batman Part 2. It was first reported here by Nexus Point that Scarlett Johansson is in talks to star in the Batman Part 2, and that's not a name I saw coming at all, but it did end up getting confirmed by Deadline here that the Batman Part 2, Scarlett Johansson eyeing new role opposite Robert Pattinson in sequel. Now, unfortunately, Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter, these more reputable, accurate websites weren't able to give us exactly who she could be playing, so people just had to look at Scarlett Johansson and take some guesses. Obviously, knowing her from her Black Widow days, people were looking at her red hair and saying things like, Poison Ivy. I even throw out there Dr. Quinzel, Harley Quinn. Hear me out. It's the Matt Reeves universe. I think Harley Quinn could be a possibility, but if she is used, she would mainly be in her doctor form, probably for most of the movie. And that's where I could see Scarlett Johansson shining in that role. But if it was full on Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn style, yeah, then maybe I wouldn't have guessed that for her. But I'm thinking for the Matt Reeves world, you know? Then people like Jeff Snyder, who just got right that they changed the cinematographer, so it sounds like he has some sources correct on the set of the Batman. He added on that not only was this role first offered to Emma Stone, who decided to pass on it, making Scarlett Johansson and her team aggressively pursue this role, which, man, sucks. I would have liked to have seen Emma Stone in this movie. He then added on she's looking to play a love interest that later turns out to be a villain in the movie. And that right there was enough for people to go wild. If you just left in their love interest, well then a Vicky Vale or something of that sort. Now people are pretty sure they're taking inspiration from Batman Mask of the Phantasm and introducing us to Andrea Beaumont. This would fit into that category of a love interest that ends up becoming a villain. When also looking at interviews for people involved with the project, they have also said that this villain has never been done in live action before. That would certainly fit with the Phantasm. And if you even look at that animated movie, which is awesome, it deals a lot more with the psychology and the man behind the mask with Batman. And that's kind of what they're going for. I'm thinking they're going to explore a lot of the Bruce Wayne persona in Batman Part 2. People have even gone through the history of the co-writer in this movie, Matt Thompson, who has also shown that he's praised and talked up Mask of the Phantasm. So this could very well be the case. Like I said, Matt Reeves has been doing his little gifts to confirm casting. So any day now, he could probably welcome Scarlett Johansson into the cast with a gift. I don't know if he'll name her Andrea Beaumont or if he'll do Mask of the Phantasm. That would be kind of crazy and cool, but it also would make me wonder, how do you go about playing that into the movie? Because a lot of nerds would already know that twist and reveal. So would you even work it as a twist and reveal, or would there be a different approach to the Phantasm? Aside from that, Jeff Snyder also did add on that a male villain in the movie is Dr. Arkham. Again, I don't think to take that to mean that he is the main villain. Same even with this character Scarlett Johansson can play. Matt Reeves has already shown, especially with that first movie, he will have multiple villains just to kind of flesh out the world. Dr. Arkham being part of the movie as an antagonist role, I think that makes sense, especially with the mystery we learned that Batman's mom spent some time in Arkham and there could be some shady history with the Waynes and Arkham. I think we might be getting a history of it, and Dr. Arkham would be a huge part of that. I am for sure fascinated to see where all this goes, because just imagining them doing that, it's like I really do want to see that. But man, knowing Emma Stone was the first choice, she probably would have rocked that role, and not to say Scarlett Johansson couldn't, but it'd be interesting to see them adapt that. I throw it off to you guys. What do you make of these reports and details with the Batman Part 2? Anyways, guys, that is all movie news we currently have going on right now. I want to thank you so much for taking time and day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.